As we get into the video, we need to talk about a few things specifically on the SP 500 and the Nasdaq 100. The video is going to be a little bit shorter. I have a few things in particular I want to talk about regarding a new trade that I entered into today, exactly where we're at and how we're responding, and then what happened in the pre-market that established us coming down to new lows. This is all of what we're going to cover here in the video. Let's get to it. Now, before we go head first into that, I have to ask you to consider doing two things: liking and subscribing every single day. I'm going over the market and exactly what I'm doing, giving you an unbiased opinion on this as well. Let's get back to the video. So what we're looking at is in particular where we're at and how we're moving. But what I want to do is break this down a little bit slower so you can see what's going on. And I kind of want to address a few things that were said in the previous videos as well. So what we're doing is getting right into what's happening here on the Nasdaq. Now, if you're looking at my indicators, ultimately all I'm really using is 90 EMA and VWAP, but I want to actually get rid of those just so it's a little bit cleaner. And then I'm using the opens indicator, which just gives me a better viewpoint of what day it is and kind of on the week with things regarding that. So as we're looking at this, let's talk about where we're at. Now, we have a very shockingly similar price action, in my opinion, to something that we had previously. I'm going to cover that a little bit more here in a second, but on the Nasdaq in particular. So basically last night and after hours, we were just shooting straight down and we kind of came to a hard bottom around basically 11.42. I'm going to highlight this spot specifically so you can see. We're going to go right there. And I want to talk about exactly where you're at. So if we come out to about the 4, we'll go to the 1 day really quick. And I want to show you where you're at relative to June on those June lows. And we've really been coming down closer and closer, as you can see, right? Very, very close. We have not made new lows. Someone commented in the previous video saying that Tyler said we made new lows. However, we have not. And I don't think I've really misquoted or said anything wrong there, but I apologize if I have. However, SPY has made new lows. So that's really clear, right? So SPY has made new lows as of yesterday. In regard to what's happening, you can see you made a new low right there. We can see we actually highlight that really quick right there, the bottom of our zone, and then you came back up, right? So we can see what's happening where you're at there, and go to ES futures as well. You can see coming back here, ES futures, right? You're establishing a new low. You have done that. That was this morning. So as far as that, we were not being dishonest, but if I misled anyone, I want to go over that first, right? I like to be really transparent and make sure I'm never leading anyone astray whatsoever. But regarding Nasdaq, let's talk about where you're at and how you're trading here. We're going to go to the 15-minute real quick just to get a better intraday view of the week. And this is ultimately how you're trading. You're coming back into this range. And this is kind of what I was talking about with Discord and my overall viewpoints, which leads me to another point. I want to highlight Discord right now. Up until Friday, we will be having 15% off of all memberships right now. Just so you know, link is down below in the bio. So keep that on your mind if you're interested in getting in. But I want to kind of talk about what I was saying in particular today. So as we come in here, on the day, what was I really looking at? Now, I ended up buying my SPY put, which I'll go into that here more in a second. But I want to talk about where you were at. This morning, right? I told you yesterday I sold a major part of my position, and then I said this morning at 8:38, 8 minutes after open, being pretty cautious here, not entering any new shorts yet. So far, Nasdaq and ES continue to bounce from lows. No reason to take a trade here while they're bouncing, trying to show strength. I still think new lows will be established, but I need some more confirmation before entries, right? And so what did I end up looking for, right? I looked at our zone, everything that I'm mentioning here on the channel. So the second you kind of wicked here, and this is where I ended up buying, so you can see a little bit more clearly. I ended up buying about right here. So we looked really good off bat, and then you kind of came pumping through. So far, you're still finding this area of turbulence. You're still getting a little bit rejected. And you're fighting the battle still. However, volume was really good today. I want to highlight that. Volume on this move has been decent. I want to address that. Your volume, I believe, came in at 100 million on SPY, and your 30-day average has been 80 million. It's good volume, okay? So I want to highlight that first. So you are seeing a little bit of buying. Now, I want to also address this could be in part with what's happening and going to happen tomorrow with your GDP outlook. Okay, so GDP is coming out tomorrow. Your forecast is negative 0.6, which was the same as last month. So they see no growth. They see the same overall flat output. Now, if we go back to CPI, inflation has risen actually, even with low energy prices. So this definitely has us on our heels. But overall, I still see downside in the market. I could be wrong about GDP. Sorry, I can't get the words in my mouth. But I want to address, this is just my viewpoint and what I'm doing, right? I'm not telling you what GDP is going to be. I can't predict that to a certain extent. right? This is just my viewpoint on the market. Anytime you come here, you need to do your own DD. So that's what I'm in right now. I also want to mention my position in SPY is half of what I have previously had. On my previous positions, it was roughly $7,000 to $10,000 on each position that I had on SPY for my swings. Right now, it's sitting about 4,300 on that entry. So I still have room to add more, but I'm still cautious where we're at. And I want to see more confirmation before I add more to that position, right? That's where we're at right now. And if GDP comes out bad or misses, I think you're going to just slip. So this is where we're at. This is how we're functioning, right? We're just the same key levels, keeping it simple, watching what's happening. But a key point here is you don't want to short, right? I want to be really clear about just an educational part here. I'm not looking to short down here because all through here is our resistance, right? Now, I left some runners yesterday. I sold a third of my position and left a fourth, but I want to be clear. I took profits as you came down in here. Why? Because we expect to bounce at these lows. What do I mean there, right? So if I'm coming to a chart and let's just say this is my resistance and this is my support down here. What do I do if I'm trading to the upside here? What do I expect to happen as we hit this? As we hit resistance, I'm looking to sell, one, because that's my target, two, because that's my resistance. I expect us to get rejected from there, right? If this is the trade, you want to trade this range and then, you don't really trade the reaction from there, right? Now, when you're here and you come back down, what do you expect to happen when you hit your support? You expect buyers to show up and to bounce. So this is back and forth, and I've continued to take this trade as you've come back up into this 11.5 range. And so I'm willing to risk, I know, 1,500 give or take on my position because of how much I've made on my other trades here. And I've covered all of those here on the channel. So I want to make that very clear as I'm getting in here. I'm not saying X, Y, and Z has to happen tomorrow. And if you look at the thumbnails and you're like, Tyler, but your thumbnail said something, but I didn't watch any of your videos, then I'm sorry that you didn't watch the videos or pay attention. But, this is YouTube. I have to do what I got to do. But when you come to the videos, you're going to get a God's honest truth. So next up, ES and SPY. Actually, I'll just cover SPY, just give you a better visual here. SPY looks a little bit better. It was looking like it was possibly going to go for that gap fill. And this really was going to be the gap fill right there because this is your daily level. So also too, if you're looking at gaps, I don't normally look for the 5-minute and 1-minute gap all the way to where the gap was. I'm looking more at a daily time frame because there's a higher percent chance of that getting filled and not the total gap on like the 5 and 1 minute chart. So always the daily lows where you're looking to get filled to. But obviously you did not hit that range. So what happened? At the end of the day, we saw some interesting behavior here. We push up through this range, we retest, you shoot back up, and then you come back down at the end of the day to your support level. Interesting action. So I still have my position on SPY puts, and I'm ready to add more. I'm kind of kicking myself for not being able to add more. I had some family stuff come up, but I just could not get more positions here, which again is sad, but it is what it is. I'm still looking to get a rejection all the way back down to at least 364, maybe even 363. That's my overall target here of what I'll be looking for over the next day or two, give or take. But if GDP goes absolutely terrible, I anticipate new lows to be established almost instantly. That's my personal opinion and how I'm looking at the market. So tomorrow, biggest things coming out, and as the market opens, is pay attention to GDP. And you can get this information from my Twitter or other Twitter accounts as well. There's a few good ones that I recommend following. And if you are interested in doing that, I recommend just going to my Twitter page, going here, coming right to my page, and just look who I follow. And I would just follow some of the plays that I follow. First Squawk, Market Rebellion, Walter Bloomberg. These are all great news article type pages to watch and follow because they really give you a good look at really what's happening out there. And they use the Bloomberg terminal usually as well. So that's how I'm looking at the market and what I'm looking for here. And I don't ever want to come across to you guys that I have to be right or I'm right and you're wrong. That's never the point of the channel here. Again, I want to push home the point of our channel here at Option Drops. It's to educate, number one. Two, be a tool for you, the trader. That's all I'm trying to do here. What I do here is absolutely free, right? Everything here on YouTube, absolutely free. The Discord, of course, that's where we make money and stuff like that. But I want to address that. I'm just here to help you as much as possible. I never try to come off as salesy. I try to offer you the most content as I can regarding the market and try to help you along the way so you are not hopefully led astray or feel like you're being misled in any way here on the channel or any channel when it comes to the stock market, right? I'm trying to help you guys to the best of my ability regarding this market. So that's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm watching. Again, today's gonna be a really short video compared to most days. I have a lot of stuff going on. I have to get out of here, but that's what I'm looking for. I want to see us get back below the 370 level and start working our way back below the weekly and hopefully back down to 364 here, right? Upside potential, maybe we gap fill. However, tomorrow, the big thing to watch for again is going to be GDP. This is going to give us our answer. If it comes out flat, I still think that's going to be kind of bullish for the market, to be quite frank. But that's my overall viewpoint. I do expect this to kind of slip. I could be wrong. This is one of the most coin toss segments of the market right now because you just don't know what's going to happen because CPI missed. You know, we're raising rates. You have to expect growth to slow down. We want growth to slow down, but that's what's really happening here in the market. Again, that's my viewpoint. If you have any questions, comment down below. I'll try to answer those later tonight. Have a good one.